AS Biology. Welcome. Are you excited for a fun learning session? Make sure you have your book and a pen before we start. Today you are going to learn about diffusion. Diffusion. Diffusion is the movement of particles from an area of high concentration to areas of low concentration through the random movement of particles. Diffusion does not require the addition of energy. It is a passive process caused by the random movement of particles. Diffusion occurs through the random movement of particles. This means that some particles will move from high to low and some from low to high, but the overall movement is towards the area of lower concentration, and this continues until there is an even distribution of particles throughout the liquid or gas. A concentration gradient is a difference in concentration of substances from one area to another, and during diffusion the particles move down the concentration gradient. During diffusion, ions and compounds can diffuse across membranes as long as they are not polar molecules and as long as they are small. Large particles such as amino acids can diffuse through the cell membrane, but it would take a long time. Charged particles, ions, or polar molecules will diffuse slowly. This is because these molecules are water-soluble and the center of the cell membrane is hydrophobic. There are two types of diffusion. These are simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. Small, non-polar molecules pass directly through the membrane. Large or charged molecules cannot pass directly through the cell membrane, and so they must pass into the cell by other means. These particles pass through the cell membrane through the process of facilitated diffusion. These molecules pass into the cell through carrier proteins and channel proteins. Large or charged molecules cannot pass directly through the cell membrane, and so they must pass into the cell by other means. These particles pass through the cell membrane through the process of facilitated diffusion. These molecules pass into the cell through carrier proteins and channel proteins. Carrier proteins move large molecules across membranes from high concentrations to low concentrations. Carrier proteins are specific. This means that there are different carrier proteins for different molecules. Large molecules attach to the carrier protein, and this causes the protein to change shape. When the protein changes shape, it releases the molecule on the other side of the membrane. Channel proteins are tunnels in the cell membrane, and these allow charged particles to pass across the cell membrane. Channel proteins are specific, and there are different channel proteins to allow the diffusion of different substances. There are three main factors that affect the rate of simple diffusion. These are 1. Concentration gradient, 2. Distance, 3. Surface area. The steeper the concentration gradient, the faster diffusion occurs. This means the greater the difference in concentration, the faster diffusion occurs. As diffusion takes place, the concentration gradient will decrease as the particles spread out. This means that the rate of diffusion will decrease. The thickness of the cell membranes, or the distance between the cells, affects how long it takes for diffusion to occur. The thinner the cell membranes and the shorter the distance, the faster diffusion occurs. The larger the surface area, the more places there are for diffusion to occur, and so the faster diffusion can occur. Cells where large amounts of diffusion occurs have adaptations to increase their surface area. There are two main factors that affect the rate of facilitated diffusion. These are 1. Concentration gradient, 2. Number of carrier or channel proteins. Just as with enzymes, the more channel or carrier proteins there are, the faster the reaction can occur. The proteins can only move a set number of molecules at a time, and bottlenecks can form, slowing the rate of diffusion. Diffusion is the movement of particles from areas of high concentration to an area of low concentration.